You're listening to Speaking Stellar Girl with Teri, an interview series that inspires women to live their most stellar life. Teri is the co-founder of the Stellar Girl movement, and she is sitting down with women all over the world to hear about the key moments in their lives and how they live boldly, compassionately, and ultimately became a stellar girl.
Well, welcome to Stellar Girl. I'm your host, Teri, and I am thrilled to have Dr. Dawnn Karen joining me today. Dr. Karen is a founder of the Fashion Psychology Institute, which focuses on the study of how color, beauty, and style affect human behavior. She has been featured and seen on Good Morning America, Inside Edition, and countless other media outlets. She has been declared the world's first fashion psychologist by the New York Times. And I'd love to welcome Dr. Karen. We're going to dive into this. We're going to dive into everything you stand for and what you champion. And I am thrilled to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, let's talk about first a little bit more about you. What inspired you to write this book? What's a little bit more about your background so our listeners can learn a bit more about you?
Yeah, so I am a twin. Fun fact, I am a twin. My twin is also a psychologist as well. So just a little bit about my background. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm from the Midwest. And I moved to the big city approximately maybe 10 or 11 years ago. So I've been working on this book for quite some time, for a number of years, just formulating the theories, polishing them. And I finally, began seriously working on it once I got my publishing deal in 2018. So I'm just really happy because I've been putting forth these theories, but if you don't really have a book or something tangible, it's sort of hard for people to believe it. So that's how I got started. I was also attending university, Columbia University, in New York, and I was working in the industry, fashion industry, and I had a traumatic experience. And at that time, I was privy to some other model friends who had experienced something traumatic. They experienced, this is a trigger warning, but they experienced a sexual assault. And so I noticed that they coped with it very differently than talking about it. They dressed it. They really dressed their pain. They dressed to cope. And so I was like, I wonder if this is a thing. If we could actually use clothing to heal us, to transform us, allow us to transmute that pain into something beautiful. And so I didn't stop at, I'm going to be a model turned stylist. I was like, no, I'm going to declare and define a whole entire field and pioneer it. So it's been fraught with a lot of people who are naysayers and detractors, but I have a lot of supporters, so I tend to focus on that, because who's founding fields in 2021, right? So
you're bold and gold. And so you're a graduate of Columbia.
Yes.
Okay, and you are you actually teach. You're a professor at two institutions.
Yes.
The one that you founded, which is the Fashion Psychology Institution, and
yes.
but you also teach at FIT as well.
Yes, I do. So I am.
What the difference?
Yeah. So I am the first Black female psychology professor hired, and I am tenured. Finally, I'm in the tenured club.
Wow!
And I'm one of the youngest. I was the youngest, but I'm one of the youngest. Is that you grow up, you get up in age. So, I do teach psychology of color and fashion there. So it's been a treat because I really am surrounded by futurists, the future, right? These students who are very progressive in their thinking, and they challenge me and teach me things just as much as I'm teaching them. So it's really a treat.
That's fantastic. So we at Stellar Girl, we champion other women. We talk about having a stellar mindset, about having, and you just spoke about that, about you instructing these students and them inspiring you. And obviously they're inspired, you're inspiring them, and they're obviously inspired by you. So who in your life, if you'd like to mention their names or talk about someone in your life other than your sister, your twin, a family member, or girlfriends that really create your community and support you and really champion you.
Yeah, well, my twin's a guy, so so we're gonna put him out of the way.
Okay.
But my cousin, believe it or not, I have a cousin. Because when you're pioneering something, not everyone gets it in your family. Like, I remember my twin didn't get it, and he calls me Donnie. He's like, Donnie, what are you doing? What is this? What? I mean, now they get it. My mom, my dad, right? So now they get it. But when you're just starting out, people don't understand. So I would say my cousin, her name is Erica, and she's actually into interior design. So it reminds me of fashion. She brings events to life. So my cousin is my stellar girl. She's a single mom. I'm speaking into existence. She's soon to be married, so I'm speaking that into existence. But she's a boss. She really she has a ton of clients, and I just really admire her. And she's really extremely supportive of me. And I think it's important to at least have one person in your family to support, that'll get it, and some things I say, maybe she doesn't get, but she supports me. And that's the woman in my life, the stellar girl that I would say that's been rocking with me and support me.
I absolutely love that. That's awesome. So I want to talk about your book, because you launched during the pandemic about 9 to 10 months ago, if I'm correct. You are now in 23 countries.
Yes.
That is absolutely incredible. It is an amazing read. So all the girls listening out there, please pick this up. I read it. I want to talk about the style story, the science behind shopping, reformatting your wardrobe. How about the mood matters? Like, I have way too much to cover. So we need to pick this up, and we all need to read this as women.
Yes.
Because I want to talk about how I found you. And that was from an article in Shape magazine where you were quoted, that you found and that you also assisted with an ecological study that proved that shine and sparkle and glimmer and glitter actually make you happy. And that's what my brand is about, bringing people joy and about having fun and while doing and working in what you love. And I created a glimmer shimmer lotion that I couldn't find anywhere else. And everyone's like, well, why do you wear that? And I go, because it makes me happy. And then I read your article and I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's proven in science that it actually physically makes me happy. And so I'm like, I have to speak with Dr. Karen and find out why that is.
Yeah. So our biologically, we're drawn to water, right? Our body is majority made up of water. So when we see things that are shiny and sparkly, it triggers our receptors to think water. Right, our body feels rejuvenated, revitalized when we have it. And so when you're having something, I'm pointing at my arm, but you have something sparkly, it actually can trigger that dopamine and make you happy. Because it actually mimics water.
So putting this on will make me happy.
Yes, definitely. Okay. And I have some as well. I don't have it on right now, but I was wearing some a couple of days ago. And after I got out of the shower, and it did make me happy, right? So this is psychology. And if you think about it, we're indoors. We don't have a lot of stimulation, or you're constantly seeing the same person every day. So you need to do things to sort of implement that self-care and make you happy. And why not get the glimmer lotion? Why not?
Why not put wear sparkle, put it on your body, put it on your face. But if you wear glitter eye makeup, or I don't know. I just think that sparkle makes us happy. Well, thank you for explaining that to me, because I was like, I thought it was just me. And then I'm like, no, there's a doctor out there that actually proves it. So I absolutely love that. So because you are in the fashion field, were you a stylist? Were you, did you clean closets or update closets, dress people?
Yes. Yeah, so I actually modeled. I also did a PR. So I was like the PR girl, getting you into like Fashion Week. So I did a lot of that. I was also an accessories designer, so I did that as well. So I really had like some insight, into the industry, and to pioneer this academic field. I decided to utilize the media. Most academics, they'll go to conferences and they'll conference hop and they'll present their research. But I realized I'm only presenting it to fellow nerds like me. No one's going to see this outside of the conference. And so I put my fashion PR hat on and I was like, I need to bring this to my journalist friends so the masses, just like yourself, you're reading Shape magazine, so we academics, we sort of swap information, but like, I wanted to disseminate it worldwide. And so hence I put in the book, and I'm constantly working with journalists to get the research and the theories out there.
That's fantastic. So I saw your expression when I said that you launched during the pandemic. So how was that?
Okay. Yeah, so I launched during the pandemic, and I remember my mom telling me, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Dawn. I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Wait, Mom, hold up. No, 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 no." Because I'm all about positivity and optimism. So, and speaking things into existence. And so at that time, I was like, no, this actually could go well. And believe it or not, it did. So during the pandemic, we were all forced to develop a new relationship with our clothing. Right? Because we're not dressing for others anymore. We can dress for ourselves. We can get dressed from the waist up. So
I wore a belt. I put pants on today.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, so now our relationship has changed. So you can't, remember, we couldn't go to the gym as much, you couldn't go to brunch with your girlfriends. So it's like, okay, well, what am I wearing? I can't go out on a date with my guy. So you know what? It's like, dress up in your house. Your clothing can heal you. So believe it or not, the pandemic was the best thing that could have happened to my book. Just because, like I said, our relationship with clothing has changed. And now, even so, people are now into sustainability now. So, and I talk a lot about that in my book as well. So it was actually a blessing. And last time I checked, it was 23 countries. And I just got word, just because we're coming out in Spanish, the Spanish language, it's like worldwide now. So it's available worldwide. So I am just really excited. So I just want to say this again, the pandemic was the best thing to happen to my book.
Well, I mean, you are talking about positivity. I mean, people would be like, oh my gosh, but then people during the pandemic were reading more as well. They were on Amazon, they were reading. So they're like, I need something to read that isn't, maybe, I don't think doom and gloom is the right word, but something that's making me happy. So why don't we talk about Dress Your Best Life? What do we talk about? And I mean, we all bought a few more leisure suits or sweatpants because they're a little more comfortable, but I got dressed up. I mean, not dressed up every day, but I got dressed every day. It makes me feel better. It does. It actually changes your mood. I dress for my mood and for my destination. I mean, I could be in this funky mood, but if I'm just going to pick up the kids and go to the grocery store, maybe I won't dress as funky as I feel. But but you talk all about that. You dress for like how your mood illustrates you. You talk about how it lifts your emotion, how it enhances you. And I find that incredible. So do you dress up every day? Do you feel that way?
Yeah. So in my house, I do. So mood enhancement dress is the theory, dressing to optimize your mood, as you said. And so I do dress up, but then most, let's say maybe 40% of the time I dress up, maybe 30 to 40%. The other, I'm wearing kimonos, my fuzzy slippers. I'm wearing head wraps over my head to make myself feel like I'm like a queen. I'm like really just into lounge wear at this time. But again, I'm wearing kimonos and like a slip dress. So I'm like gliding in my apartment, feeling very regal.
Love that.
That's what I've been doing through the pandemic. Wearing, like I said, a ton of kimonos. And I found myself needing something loose, just because I, like myself, I can self-disclose. Sometimes I have anxiety, and like wearing tight clothing sort of perpetuates that feeling. So wearing the loose loose clothing makes me feel like, okay, everything's going to be all right, you know? So that's what I've been wearing, kimonos and house slippers.
I love this. I'm sure they're gorgeous kimonos.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. I have a few, but
Yes.
I need to invest more in those than my sweatpants instead.
Yeah.
So first, let's talk about self-care. So you were talking about how you were feeling during all of this, how you perhaps struggle with a little bit of anxiety at times. What do you do for self-care? What brings you joy, Dr. Karen?
Yeah, so self-care, of course, bubble baths, massages, but with my clothing, I notice when I'm going through something anxious, again, like loose fitting clothing. So I'll even wear I have like a big comfy sweater, like it's large though, like extra, extra large, it swallows me. That makes me feel very warm, warm and just like soothing, right? So I use my clothing to sort of help me. And even I've been wearing a lot of what's this pattern? I'm sorry, what's the name of it? Houndstooth. I always say something else, but houndstooth, that actually makes me happy as well. Good. So leopard print, houndstooth, those have been my go-to to sort of mitigate that anxiety. Just dressing up, it really makes you feel good. And picking out clothing, it gives you a sense of control when we're constantly being told what to wear, what mask to wear, where to wear the mask, So.
Yeah. I don't know if you also believe that clothing is like a type of armor, and it also, of course, speaks volumes when, we walk into any room, any place, whether we're on Zoom, whether we're anywhere, but it tells a lot about the person and exactly how they're dressed. And if they take care of themselves, if they get ready and feel better.
Yeah. So that's why I really place emphasis on, the right clothes, the clothing that I choose, because it shows it's actually self-care. You're literally taking care of yourself and it makes you feel good. I think in this world, and just we as women, we actually take care of everyone else but ourselves. So when I do have that time where I'm selecting my clothing, it's self-care. It's literally me taking care of myself. And I you can't go wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I think I would love to talk a little bit more about the institute that you founded, the Fashion Psychology Institute, because you're the founder of an institution. Like, oh, wow, that's stellar.
Yeah.
That's stellar. So let's talk about that.
Thank you so much. It's been around for 5 years, and I founded it when like online school was not really a thing. Like it was like taboo. Like why would you go there? And I founded it because I found out that someone felt, we'll use the word inspired by my field, and they actually implemented it somewhere else. And this was at a renowned institution. And I was like, wait a minute, this was mine. And so I was like, you know what, it's okay. Cause I really just believe in the universe and everything happens for a reason. And I was like, well, that's okay. But I think in the future, we're going to do online school. Okay. And so I created the Fashion Psychology Institute, totally online. It's never been in person. I've had students attend from Australia. So there are fashion psychologists in Australia, Lebanon, Switzerland, Japan. I currently have students from Russia and Czech Republic. Wow. Some of these places, I mean, I've traveled around the world, but some of these places I haven't gone to yet. Like I haven't been to the Czech Republic. So it's cool to have students from there. Yes. So I'm just really, really proud of myself for being a futurist and hanging in there. You should be. When people feel inspired and they want to say, hey, we have a fashion psychology program here, and I'm like, well, so I try, as you can notice, I'm very much an optimist. I try to just take the high road, and it actually worked out because right now I'm so overwhelmed by the Fashion Psychology Institute because I have so many students. So that's incredible. Really a blessing.
That is absolutely incredible. I'm going to I sit on the board of the Art Institute in Chicago, but it's the School of the Art Institute. So it's the fashion department. So, wow. So all I do is I get to go and view their studios and see their work. We just had a meeting the other day, and these are incredibly talented people that design the clothes that we are going to wear. I mean, they're inspiring, and they are from all over the world as well. And it's so good to see all of the arts come together in that way. I think that's absolutely incredible. That is so. Did your school change up in 2021? Are you guys doing anything different? You're online, so you don't have many changes to make, I would assume.
If I can be honest, I'm doing the same thing that I was doing 5 years ago. So I'm a futurist. So I'm always I don't know. I'm thinking of this movie on Netflix. It's called Soul.
Okay.
But they talk about being in the zone. And so I'm always like in this sort of like the zone where I'm like, oh yeah, that would be cool in like 10 years. So I'm always like 10 years ahead of myself. So literally what I was doing 5 years ago still holds. It still holds. So it's really great. So I didn't have to change anything. I just had to keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. That's awesome. So you're talking about the like all your students from all over the world. Is there any particular place that you've traveled to or that you want to travel to? Because Stellar Girl is about having an adventurous life. Even if you can't afford to get on a plane at this moment or last year or whenever, you can have a adventure in your own backyard. But is there anywhere in particular that you would love to go or that you've gone that you want to share with all of us?
Okay. Ukraine. I've gone to Ukraine, and you're probably like, why would you go to Ukraine? Well,
I won't, because I'm Ukrainian. My last name's Kachuk. I've been to Kiev, Ternopil. I speak Dobry Den, Dobabachenya. Yes. So tell me, where did you go?
This is such a coincidence. Well, the former prime minister of Ukraine invited me, he and his wife, and I thought it was a scam. I thought the email was like some fraudulent. I'm like, no, this can't be real. They don't want me. Why would they want me? And so they were putting on a security conference, and they wanted me to come and talk about like the psychology behind the burkini. And the burkini is what Muslim women wear, who identify with the Muslim, religion, and they wear it, and it poses a security threat because it's like you're fully covered. It's like a swimsuit, but it's fully covered, and they actually banned it in parts of Europe. And so they said, we want a different perspective. And so of course I'm not for the ban. I think you should wear whatever you want to wear, especially if it relates to your value system. And so the wife found out who I was, the former first lady, I guess. And her name is Teresa. And she said, she told her husband, we need to have her out. And so I was like the only girl there, probably like the only Black person, only American, like me and my assistant. And it was so cool. They treated me like royalty. I had bodyguards, like armed bodyguards, because we were at a security forum. So I had the whole shebang, and I was sitting at the table with them, and it was just so like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. So that was like my best, I guess, Ukraine. And then the place that I want to go to, I know Ukraine and Russia, I know the politics behind it, but I want to go to Russia. I want to go to Russia. I think the women there dress so fabulously. And I want to go.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh, I would love to return. I went when in 1991 when communism fell, and they were able to open up their churches. So I saw it as they were, like, I was walking down the streets while they were taking down the boards off the churches and being able to share their history again. And that is incredible. What a coincidence.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful
each other. Like I just that's incredible. See?
Yeah.
Stellar Girl brings us all together.
Yes, it's such a beautiful country. Like I know I remember thinking this reminds me of Paris, because I was in like Lviv, and I was in Kiev, and I noticed that I met some designers there, and the designs they were very it reminded me of something from the 1950s. It wasn't how we normally would dress. Okay. And so it was like I was like walking in like a time warp or time traveling, because I'm like, I never saw these clothes on I usually see them in the movies, the 1950s movies. They were very like I said, 1950s, 1960s-ish. So it was really cool. It's very cool.
That is incredible. I love that story. So we have talked all things stellar. We've talked about we've talked about having a stellar mindset and how you've championed yourself. And you really have to take pride in that, doctor, because you should champion yourself, and how you've supported others, and how your community is so strong. And I think it's incredible, all the work that you're doing at your institute. And I want to commend you highly on this book, because I loved it. It is so relevant for today, for today's culture. Women need to read this. And I'm going to share it with all of my friends. It's going to be a great gift upcoming. And it has been such a pleasure speaking with you today. I think that everything that you stand for, everything that you're about, your smile, your laugh, what brings you joy, and how you're helping all these other students and women and the other women that are around you. I just think it's incredible what you're doing. And thank you so much for speaking Stellar Girl. You speak Stellar Girl. You are stellar.
Thank you. And I look forward to coming back.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to have you back, and we will chat again very, very soon. So thank you, Dr. Karen. I really appreciate it. And so will our listeners, and we'll chat very soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to be notified of new episodes. To learn more about the Stellar Girl movement, please visit us at STELLARGIRL.com.